So welcome back to DecoyNoise in another episode of Decoy Court, where we're going over a story on r/unpopular opinion, where I'm going to judge the people that don't ask to be judged. But this person over here is saying, I like the crap hole of 2020. So, as always, I read the entire short story of the post, but we take it to Decoy Court, where I give you my knee-jerk reaction and opinion on the situation. Then we read over some of the top and controversial comments, but let's go ahead and get to the story right now. So OP said, I lost my job, have close friends that I don't even know are alive, and I am struggling. Still love 2020 and the absolute crap hole it is. Something different happened. I honestly prefer this than having a 9-to-5, retiring, and living a normal life. I like the uncertainty and feeling of desperation. Adds a nice spice to life. Like 2020 and its events have given me the chance to feel something different for the first time in my life. So they got lots of awards, but we gotta take that story to Decoy Court. And I'm gonna go ahead and say right off the bat, if you like what's happening in 2020 because it's a spice of life, you, sir, are the biggest antagonist. You're a jerk. Like 2020 has just been filled with lots of death, despair, sickness, people just suffering all around the world, and you're just thinking like, oh yeah, you know, not my regular 9-to-5 was boring, but I like the idea that everybody's struggling around me. Like, what? Oh, I don't want to say, oh, you loser, and I don't want to like dox anybody, but I feel like you gotta have to be kind of, I guess I don't have a better word for it, but you kind of have to be a loser if you like the idea that everything crumbling around you is good, you know? Like, if you're not having, like, you know, awesome vacations with an awesome significant other, like a wife or a girlfriend, or you got kids and they're doing cool things, or, you know, maybe you're single and you're just living it up and everywhere you go is a nice adventure, meeting somebody at a Starbucks and having a cool coffee date and just doing other random things and going to Vegas, going on vacations, and you have something coming up later in your life that's really, really exciting that you're looking forward to. If sitting at home and watching the world crumble on the news stations and hearing, you know, your neighbor's father or your friend's mom or somebody you know is having a hard time with the lockdown situation, I don't want to say the word, but, you know, knowing that other people won't get to live life the way they want to anymore is spicing things up, and you like the uncertainty and desperation. Like, what? I'm trying to figure out a way that, like, you know, what would the decoy defense be in this scenario right here? And it is maybe, okay, so the first time in DecoyNoise and Decoy Court, I'm gonna have to ask you guys for the decoy defense, because if you've been watching my channel for long enough, you just know the decoy defense is just oftentimes gonna be me making up some absurd story or scenario that would say, hey, look, the person that's obviously the antagonist in the story is the good guy. Maybe this is, I don't know. Let me know how this guy could be the person. Like, make up a story in the comments and I'll, like, you know, pin the best one at the top of the comment chain. But I mean, the idea is, if you like the idea that suffering makes things interesting for you, because let's be honest, like, if I could think about a scenario where it's like, yes, I love life and everything's cool and I love doing all that stuff. I wish there wasn't lockdowns. I wish I could go to like Vegas next weekend and have a good time. And I wish I could go to the beach and just meet random strangers and have fun, you know, longboarding or something like that. Like, that would be awesome right now, but you just can't do it in the way it used to be. I'm missing out on that. And then I like the idea that I get to make my own future, not just kind of wait to see what the experts say and can I go out there and, you know, have a good time yet. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. When's the next time I'm gonna go get to see an NBA game in the stadium like regular? Like, it's kind of sad that, you know, we don't get, I understand that my gripes are much, I have first world problems. I totally own up to that. But the idea is, I don't like this where there's like, oh, it's cool that everybody's suffering. It's cool that everybody's struggling. I think that's kind of a bad way to see the situation. But, you know, all those things said, I don't like this or whatever. So yes, OP, you're the antagonist right now because you like that. No, okay, sorry. I had a point to make, which was, I could see my life being great, but it would be kind of interesting to see, like, hey, look, aliens popped up, like, you know, Independence Day aliens, or just giant UFOs were going over different cities and everybody's panicking and freaking out. Like, that would be, I'd feel something different. Like, oh my God, look, every single day I'd probably wake up and try to hop on Reddit or hop on news or like to turn on the TV. What happened with the UFOs? What's this? What's that? And that's what they're kind of saying with this whole situation, where it's like, you know, I want to know, I want something interesting to happen in the world, not just regular stuff. But no, not like this, not with terrible things. This is the equivalency of me saying, I'd be interested to see if UFOs popped up, not I'd be interested to see if UFOs were just straight blowing up everybody everywhere and abducting all the cows and everything. Like, that'd be a terrible thing. But, you know, as always, let's take a short break, give you guys the opportunity to subscribe with the notifications on, but also let me know what you think. Like, what would be the decoy defense? Why would this guy be the good guy in the scenario? And let me go ahead and let me know. But let's go ahead and get to the top comment right now saying, you just described why I love starting a new game in Fallout. And the next one is, Fallout 3 is the bleakest in my opinion, and why it'll always be my favorite. So here's the thing, I love Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, but in case any of the viewers at home right now, you guys haven't played Fallout, Fallout's about what would happen in World War II after that, if everything didn't get wrapped up in the Cold War, where we actually just kept on bombing everybody, and like, you know, the video game is about, like, you know, nuclear fallout and the terrible things that would happen in the world and everybody's struggling and stuff. That makes sense because Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas are just about, like, you know, a fantasy world where, like, oh, what would I do if I was out there and there was like super mutants running around the world, and, you know, how would I survive? That's a cool video game, but not real life. And the idea is, this person's not talking about playing, you know, that video game on your phone. I forget what it's called, but you make a virus or something. That we're talking about video games as opposed to real life. So yeah. So the next top comment was, there is an odd kind of solace that comes when you are surrounded by chaos. So I do understand that, like, you know, some people really shine in hard situations, and like when everything's going crazy and they feel like, you know, they can really hone in and focus and stuff, and they feel out of touch with reality. But if, you know, a giant earthquake hits, they're very, very in tune, and they want it, like, you know, that's when they can hop to everyone's rescue. But I also don't think that this is matching up with what they're trying to say. But let's go ahead and read, you know, one more top comment saying, an entropy fan. I kind of feel the same ways too. Beauty and uncertainty, maybe. Okay, that could be true. And then entropy thing, what's a S thing? It's a George Carlin reference. Okay, maybe I'm not old enough for that. But the next reply was saying, this is absolutely unpopular opinion, but one I share. My job involves, among other things, maintaining a safe environment for vulnerable adults. So my work not only needed me to keep coming in, but needed me to stay healthy and safe as well. I got a small bonus and more hours, overtime, so we're actually doing better right now than we were before the lockdown. I feel a little bad, like a profiteer, but I didn't set out to do this, just how the cards fell. So here's the thing, is they are like a profiteer, and the idea, and they say, like, you know, it's an unpopular opinion, but it's like they're winning right now, you know, like they are getting the best out of the situation, so it actually helped them more than anything. But it is very callous to have these thoughts and think about that, as long as you're kind of well aware, like, hey, this is a kind of a messed up thing, that I'm excited that this was happening. Like a long time ago, I remember I had a friend that was living in Vegas, and then when the tragedy happened over there, they started making up, like, you know, t-shirts and banners and flags for cars and bumper stickers and everything, and they're making a lot of money. And I was like, is this okay? Like, I understand, like, you know, this was a situation that everybody wanted to have the t-shirt. They wanted to, like, the community wanted to come together, and it was like, you know, it was a very supportive thing, and some of the proceeds did go to charity, but it was almost like, hey man, you're a little bit too happy to be selling these Vegas strong t-shirts. Like, pump the brakes a little bit. Like, don't celebrate too hard. It's like that scene in The Big Short where those guys were celebrating because they just made the big deal of their life, and they're dancing, they're singing, and the Brad Pitt character is like, no, don't dance, don't sing. Yes, you just became millionaires, but every, like, you know, percent the unemployment rate goes up, there's lots of death and, like, sadness. So just keep it in check, you know, be happy, but in a very reserved way, I guess. But let's go ahead and read the next reply saying, I just like that I can stay home and I don't have to talk to anyone. So they have a whole bunch of replies of everybody agreeing with it, which I chose this post because it is an r/unpopular opinions. But for the most part, when I come across r/unpopular opinions, it's people that aren't having unpopular opinions. Like, my r/unpopular opinion is, you know, puppies are cute, and like, oh my god, I agree. That no, that's not an unpopular opinion. This is an unpopular opinion. This is a person that's going against the grain. So I do appreciate this person for what they're doing, because it is shedding light on something that, you know, he probably can't say publicly in front of his friends, but this is a sentiment that he shares with a lot of strangers online. Like, at least 3,500 people wanted to say something about this, which is pretty crazy. But I still am not going to remove my judgment in Decoy Court, where yes, if you think that you like the idea that 2020 has been crazy, I think you're kind of the antagonist here, because there's a lot of people that are suffering that maybe don't have it as good as OP right here, where they're like, oh yeah, something interesting in my life is finally happening. I can finally feel something. Like, that's kind of selfish. And then other guy that says, you know, my work has never been greater. Like, how many people are out of work? How many people don't get to enjoy where are my priorities right now? How many people can enjoy the food they like to eat? They gotta have like ramen noodles and Taco Bell hot sauce packets for dinner every night, 7 days a week. Like, that's a situation that I see that's coming across to more people than not. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of selfish to say that I like the idea it is, but that's why we're here at r/unpopular opinions. But let me know what you guys are thinking down below. Do you like that this year is crazy? Do you want would you like that this year is crazy more if you knew that 2021 was going to be the most prosperous year ever? Like, aliens do arrive and just give us everything that's amazing, and every day is like a Puff Daddy video shoot, or I'm sorry, P. Diddy video shoot where everybody's just living it big. Let me know. But as always, you made it to the end of the video. We're having a little celebration. I thank you guys for hanging out with me as long as you have. Go ahead and share this video or share my whole entire channel with somebody you think that might like this type of podcast. But if nothing else, go ahead and put this on autoplay and watch the next episode of DecoyNoise coming up next.